All right, welcome back. It is Wolf and Luke on a Wednesday afternoon. Max Starks is joining us for some Maximum Football here. And look, Max, we always like talking to you. But today specifically, we have very Max-specific questions, or at least I do.
Yeah.
Because the Cardinals are now down Jonah Williams on the offensive line. We don't know for sure when he's coming back, and it sounds like they're down Will Hernandez now for the rest of the season. So when you look at this roster, Max, how are they supposed to replace those guys, specifically Will Hernandez, because that just happened this week?
Get guys healthy. Wear knee braces like college kids. I don't know. It's tough in this situation because it's not like years past, right, where you didn't have these humongous practice squads that are now available to teams. And also, there's just not a lot of guys out there. I think that's the other thing that's kind of like the frustrating part is you kind of look, it's like, well, where can you poach? I mean, you're asking your scouting department to go out and try and find guys, but there's not a lot of guys. I mean, humongous mammals that are earth movers and athletic are very hard to find, first and foremost. So when you get good offensive linemen, you usually try and keep them as much as possible. You try and stockpile those guys. But the other issue that comes up is, everybody's got injuries. Everybody's got injuries. I mean, I just look at it not only for like the Cardinals, but the Steelers, right? And Steelers, we got 3 starters on IR right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And then we didn't have a starter for the first 4 weeks as well. And, that's when it's like, okay, the draft is where – and we're depending heavily on our draft picks to do things. That's kind of what the entire league is about right now. You're trying to figure out, okay, what guy can play another role? What guy can be a flexible player for you? Because, we're scraping the bottom barrels of practice squads to try and pull guys off. And then also the other part is you got to then offer them an active roster contract, but now that takes another space. And then you got to get that guy up to speed. Like there's so many different rolling scenarios that you're battling with to try and get guys in. Now, I mean, looking at Beecham, at least you kind of have that back and you can kind of move some guys around. But I mean, you're going to have to get guys up to speed, and you're going to go to unlikely places. Maybe guys are starting to look into CFL to see what type of linemen are up there, because it's very tough to fill that type of void. I mean, you have one center on the practice squad. You got another tackle on the P squad right now for the Cardinals. Tenuta and Ismail are your 2 that are on the practice squad, but there's just not a lot of guys. And like you said, the IR is chocked full of offensive linemen. So it's a tough situation, this decimation, where you're trying to make yourself as creative as possible. I think that's where it comes down to, creativity by Drew Petzing to kind of masquerade if there is a weakness somewhere along that offensive line. You just got to play away from that and play to your strengths.
Well, it was kind of interesting back when I played, of course, in 1985. Man, that sounds so long ago. What are you doing?
You played in the 20th century, sir? Oh, my gosh.
You could say like 94. You're rounding back 10 years.
I know. I'm just saying I came in 85. But anyways, it was weird because you would have offensive linemen that were really, really good at run blocking, and that was the number one prerequisite. You had to be good at run blocking, and then, of course, you'd have to learn how to be a good pass protector as well. But, man, you had to be a good run blocker to begin with. It feels a little different today, does it not, Max? That, hey, listen, you got to be able to hold up in protection. And, oh, by the way, if you're a good run blocker, that's going to be a bonus. Is that your reading on today's NFL?
Yeah. That's the scouting is now gone in reverse.
Yes.
Like you said, Wolf, it's how athletic is this guy and how well does his feet move for pass protection. We don't necessarily we'll take the physicality. Now, here's the thing. I'll say at tackle, that's the way.
Okay.
At guard,
yeah,
it's still the same old way. what's the guy's leverage? What's his knee bend? What's his hip flexion? How are his hands with getting the double underhooks, right? Creating that forklift and lifting a guy out. Can he bend? Like interior positions, they do that now at tackle where you have these evolved pass rushers. Let's just call it the evolution of the pass rusher, where you have these prototype alien guys on the outside. Either you're going to get a physical, strong one that has a relentless motor, or you get one that looks like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, and he has these long arms, and you don't get to touch his chest. If he hits you, you're done. So so for your tackles, you're like, I want this athletic, but then we want to run off tackle, and the guy is not as great as you expect him to be. Now, Paris Johnson was one of those guys coming out last year, right? I was like, Paris was a great zone scheme tackle. I didn't trust him as a man-blocking tackle because he could run. He was athletic. So if you need him to hook the backside or the front side of a play, he's going to hook the front side of a play. But don't expect him to get 4 yards upfield. And then on the backside, the dude can reach a nose from the backside. Like, that's how athletic he is. But at the point of the contact, he wasn't physical. Now, he's gotten a whole heck of a lot better from last year to this year, which he made the jump. But initially, that's how guys are looking at them now. It's like, we'll get you, we want the athlete, and then we'll just kind of hope and pray that you do some things because there's not enough time to teach now because of the rules now and how they're in place. You don't get to teach as an offensive line coach. You're just trying to teach. You're just trying to get the scheme and make sure that they understand the scheme and who to block, not necessarily how to block them. And he was one of those exceptions that made the jump, but it's still more to be desired in those departments. So it is tougher because, like you said, in season you have very little time on the field, and you're trying to get corrections. You're trying to get installed a new game plan. You don't get to work on 1-2, lift. Okay, make sure you get your hips a little bit lower, firing out. And guys, let's face it, also, Wolf, guys don't run from a 3-point stance anymore.
Right.
It's very rare. You see linemen, all 5 of them, with their hands in the dirt on the same play in the middle of the field. Like you got a tackle that's up, or both tackles are up, or heck, even the guard is in a 2-point stance, and you're trying to run counter. Can't just riddle me that. How is that? You know what I'm saying? Like how are you going to develop power? And then of course, now the defensive linemen have a key on you. This dude's putting his hand in the dirt. Okay, they must be running it. Like there's no play action anymore off of that in the 3-point that you can play off of the run because everybody's segmented because from college, everything's a 2-point. Everything's shotgun. So there's not a lot of guessing and anonymity is gone from that, and it's translating now into this game. And nobody's saying, hey, put your hand in the dirt. If we're running, put your hand in the dirt. Create your leverage. You're already giving the defender 6 inches of leverage that you now either have to re-accordion yourself, and I just checked that is a word.
Yeah, that was.
You have to re-accordion yourself and get back down before you start moving forward, and that guy's already low, so he's moving forward against you, so you're going to get pushback. So there's so many different forces at play that when you're talking about a line unit that needs to be fixed is kind of gone by the wayside. They haven't really focused in on those traits.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.